Hey everybody, how you guys doing? I'm Alex, and this is,
Jesse, as you know.
and we are the TLT, the Linux Tube. Welcome to today's podcast. Today we're going to talk about some pretty cool stuff. We're going to talk.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for it too. Not kind of, I am excited. I always say kind of, but I don't know why. I choose the minimal way of saying I'm excited. But either way, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be nice. I had a very interesting week. I will apologize right now for my voice and my and my possible cough or sniffles. I was sick all last week. Hey, Meeslop, how you guys doing? How
Yeah.
you doing?
Hey, good morning to our chat folks.
So anyhow, I must apologize. I'm still getting over whatever crud it is. It was around maybe 20, COVID 2029 or whatever it is. I don't know what variant we're on.
Oh,
But
yeah.
either
I
way,
think we both been under the weather this week, but I think we're both on the correct side of it.
right, the show must go on, right?
Oh, absolutely. You got waffles, you got meatloaf.
Yep.
So, what do you guys think of starting a little bit early like this, like an hour later?
Yeah, drop us a comment in the chat. Let us know what you think. We're trying to figure out a better time for both us and everybody else to be available. Try to get as much show participation as possible. So, but yeah, this week has been a little bit I don't know, difficult because of trying to work. I worked throughout the whole time I was sick. Because we're short staffed and we've got so much demand at our job. But
Yeah, there's only but so many of us.
yeah. So, but anyhow, other than that, wasn't able to do a whole lot in the Linux realm this week. But I did look at a few things that I want to look at, and one of the ones I want to talk about, well, we can just briefly hit upon later on is a distribution. What he says? What do you mean, Jesse? It's 5 p.m. where he's at.
Well, it's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right. Oh, speaking of which, he died. Jimmy Buffett died. Your audio just went out.
Sorry, parrot heads everywhere are sad.
Yeah, he just went out, man. It was crazy. That's that kind of
Jimmy Buffett, for those of you guys
yeah.
who may not know.
He's just got to crank up the app for this one. But yeah, so that was one of the things, and one of the things I played with a little bit. I got to really, enjoy, and I want to do a review of, believe it or not. And I'm almost scared to because he's my hero, so to speak. I love the guy. He's a good friend of mine, and that's DTOS's DTOS. He finally made an ISO. What's up?
It looks like the filter's working.
The filter got
Waffles saying no words.
Oh. Yeah, we got to watch we have a moderator now that's moderating the channel, and so they put in
Everybody
a bunch of
say hi to the Stream Elements mod bot.
Yep, they put in words in there that are no words for some reason. Well, not some reason. They're for a good reason, because our last week's podcast we got demonetized.
Right. We're not sure what did it, but this time we're being careful.
Right. So, but anyhow, so I played with DTOS a little bit, and I really, really like what he's done to it. It's it's a solid, it's based off Arch, and, he's using the Qtile window manager, which Qtile's awesome. I like Qtile. It's my second favorite. And then he's added a lot of cool stuff, like his DM scripts are in there with the keystrokes,
nice.
Or the key chords. He's added a lot of stuff in there. It's really, really nice. It's actually very nice. It's making me actually want to switch to it as a daily driver.
Ooh, save it for the review.
Yeah.
You
But
guys
anyhow,
came for the podcast, and maybe as an upcoming feature, what if we did like a live distro test once in a while?
we could do. That's the thing about the podcast.
Literally just, grab a capture card,
Yeah, it's
and
very flexible. It's very flexible. We can do
yeah.
any of that.
But it sounds good from what I've heard from you, and I'm looking forward to the review.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've got some reviews coming up that I'm excited to do. Could be
Mm,
doing 4M Linux while we're still on the Debian-based distro tour.
mm-hmm. Nice. Farm
Uh,
Linux is a good one. That's a very good
yep,
one.
that was your recommendation.
Hmm? Well, I know they just
I've
had a recent release, and I really enjoyed it. And Mislav said, "Good idea." And I
yeah.
recently enjoyed it, and I enjoyed my Farm Linux time when I did the review of it. And
Oh, that's
they've got
awesome.
a good distribution. Worthwhile looking at.
Yep. I'm thinking about doing a review of Pika OS. If you guys out there are any type of gamers or content creators, I'm sure you've come across Nobara. We have reviews here on the channel for Nobara, and Pika basically takes the Nobara idea and rebases it to Debian.
Nice. Oh, speaking of Nobara, uh, I don't have a problem plugging other content creators' channels at all, especially if they're friends of the channel.
Right.
And one of them is, "What's up, Renton? And why is Renton's message deleted?"
Oof.
Yo, is this live? Yes, Benton, it is live. Waffles, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and Waffles
Ben, how
is
you doing?
got it.
This is live. Yep.
Yep, yep, it is. So, anyhow, friend of the channel, Brody Robertson, does Tech Over Tea, right? And
Hmm.
he just released a video with none other than GE Glorious Egg Roll.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
he just did it. He
Glorious
just
Egg
did.
Roll has done so much for the Linux gaming community and content creation community, period.
Yeah, yeah. And so, like, he's going in depth onto what he did and what's
And
Bazite deck? Bazite deck? Huh? Never heard of that. Mislav.
they're talking about Battle Deck, I think maybe.
Oh, Battle Deck. Okay. Anyhow, he's gone in depth with him over how his version of the Proton developed and everything else. So
Yeah. Now, refresh my memory, and I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Um, GE's a Fedora dev by day, right?
yep, yep, he works for Fedora. Absolutely. He did it. He did it as a little side project. Basically, from what I know of, conversations that I've had with him myself, he he pretty much so took like the wine proton that was upstream from what you call it theme that they were using, and kind of stripped out all the application parts to make it into the proton compatibility it is now using some of the wine stuff. Mizo says Fedora based Steam Deck distro. Yes. Yes. But anyhow, he that's what Bazite deck is. I will Google it, and I will look into it
Okay.
for sure. Uh but uh,
Super cool.
but anyhow, the he streamlined basically a experimental proton what you call it the proton layer compatibility that Steam was already working on. Somehow he got his hands into it. I don't know if he's with developers or whatever, but he got his hands onto it, and he just stripped out all the stuff and added the stuff that he'd been working on into it and made it what it is today. So that's
That's
that's kind of
awesome.
how that started. Yeah, and he talks about that a little bit in the video, from what I understand. So I'm kind of hoping to get a chance to look at it here a little bit later after the podcast.
Um,
Also, you know,
and bot does block caps. That is correct. We're having to filter out some potential sources of spam. So
oh,
sorry about that.
I guess it does block out caps because that's exactly must have been what it was. Interesting. Well, either way, we needed it, because of we had somebody in the last podcast do some stuff that got us demonetized. So either way,
Yep.
we're sorry, but it has to be. So in
Yep.
today's first subject, let's go ahead and talk about today's
I'm
first
gonna
subject because
switch sources real quick.
I am going to blast on something that I use every day, and
Please do.
it's only one part that bothers me about it, and that is going to be Discord. Oh, the actual Discord uh, app for both desktop and phone. And the
Oof.
reason why
Starting out with the pain points.
the reason why I'm showing right now the Google Play one, because on my phone it's got a 4.3 rating, which is pretty good as far as like Google Play Store is concerned. It's got a 4.3 rating, but the thing with it that bothers me, and it's one little thing, and call it ticky tacky, but you don't experience it with WhatsApp, you don't experience it with Messenger, Snapchat, anything like that. So it has a video component, right? Which
Right.
is where you can do voice call and you can do video
Yeah.
text and video call, or what I'm saying. And
Well, yeah. That's what we're doing. That's how we do
our thing, right? Because
our show.
Jitsi,
Yeah.
it uses Jitsi on the back end, right, for the video, right? So in those components, there is one big flaw that this app has completely overlooked, and you get pop-up notifications that pop up right whenever somebody posts a message, or you get like the Alex sent you a message on the messenger, right? You get notifications, right? But you also get like a noise, like a ding or something like that, right?
Right.
Well, you don't get any audible notification at all. So if your phone's in your pocket, if somebody's calling you on Discord voice, or any or whether it's a video or a thing, you don't get a ring, you don't get anything like that.
Yeah, it's really weird, and I hear an outgoing ring if I start a call from my phone.
You hear an outgoing ring when you start, but you don't get an incoming ring. What is up
Yeah,
with that?
I wonder if we have it misconfigured, but the fact that we're both getting it,
I've looked into settings.
what's
I've
up
gone
with
into
that?
settings, and I turned on the one setting. There is a setting you could turn on to hear a ring on the desktop client, and it worked one time, and then it went away. I don't
Are
know.
you using the flat pack or the native package?
No, I'm using the native package.
I
Blows
don't
my
know.
mind. I know. It's
Bug report.
I did. Oh shoot. I did bug report it. I did do all that stuff. I really don't know what the heck is going on. I really don't. I don't know. Why it doesn't work. I've tried fixing it. I've Googled it. I've talked to people. I've turned on the one measly setting that you can put on there, and it just still reverts. I
Yeah,
have no
guys,
idea.
if you've run into this and you've fixed it, how did you fix it? Or if you're experiencing it now, try calling somebody and have them call you back. See if you get a ring.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're dealing with in Discord land.
I get when you have like a voice channel in your Discord, and you go into it, you're not gonna, it's not gonna
You're
ring
just gonna
anything.
pop in.
Yeah, you're just gonna
But
pop
even
in.
but even then,
But on
there's an audible notification that somebody has jumped in.
right, but I'm saying,
If you're already in the voice channel and somebody jumps in, you even hear that. So why are we not getting call notifications like that?
exactly, especially when you're doing an intentional call, a video call, because I do a lot of video calls through Discord. From talking to Steve over at Zero Linux, Hisham and Elia Linux, even Raymer's from Makulu Linux, tons of people, everybody.
We do all our channel meetings on Discord. It's really useful, and don't think we're just bashing
No, I love
Discord as a
Discord.
whole. It's great.
I'll be honest with you. Since I created the Discord channel, or the Discord server, right? Since I created the Discord server, and I've actually went from being on Facebook, because I've been in several different Facebook channels, also the Linux Tube Facebook page. I went from being on Facebook to there.
Yeah,
mainly.
Discord is what I use as like my social media now.
Yeah, it's I use it all the time. I'm on it every day,
Yeah.
and I'm talking to people on it every day, more than I do on any Facebook group or Facebook Messenger. And so, I mean, it's really weird how that's the one aspect that I have a problem with, and it's the one that's the most important to me. That's what made it annoying to me, is because
Right.
I
Right.
get so many video calls and tech and voice calls, because I'm always accessible there to people. Benton says he had to give up Discord. It's not good for him personally.
Was it a little bit addictive? It can be hard to break away from Discord. I can understand if that was something you had to do. It's very easy to just stay in Discord all day.
Well, yes, especially if it's on
And
something that you're passionate about. Yeah, but
right,
that could
like this.
that could be that could be the same with any social media outlet. Like, you've got people that were really addicted to X or Twitter, whatever it is. It's probably going to be Twitter to me, but X or whatever, and then Facebook.
Right.
I mean, I see people right now, man, that are addicted to TikTok. They're just scrolling through those little shorts like crazy. So I can understand that aspect of, if that's
right.
good,
If you
that's
like
good
shorts, go
personal
watch
growth.
our shorts.
Yeah, watch our shorts. It's still, when they first came out with shorts, I was like, why would somebody put a picture of shorts up there? That's how old school I am.
Do you remember, completely unrelated to anything, do you remember Nickelodeon had a show called Salute Your Shorts?
No.
You might be a little older than I. Yeah, you're a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
But it was a show about a fictional summer camp,
Okay.
and they called the show Salute Your Shorts.
Salute your shorts because of a summer camp. Okay. And all right.
Yeah, I think they used like somebody's boxers as the camp flag or something. I always forget now, what exactly
That
led
would
to
sound
that title.
appropriate. That would sound appropriate for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, Discord is great, except annoying little things like that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Or
and if you
I
guys are not a
know-
member of the Discord, then yeah, please join. It's a great place.
Yeah. It's a fun time.
I actually have a lot of people compliment our Discord, because our Discord is very chill, so to speak.
It's well behaved.
Yes, it's very
especially
well-behaved.
for a Linux Discord. It's very well behaved.
Yes.
Want to shout out a thank you to Joris, and the
moderator.
rest of everybody who's doing any kind of mod work over on the.
And Izzy, all my admins do a great job,
Yeah.
and moderators. They all do a great job of monitoring the behavior in there and taking care of issues and addressing them right away. And honestly, this is a love fest for Joris. But Joris is an admin in pretty much so every Linux content creators Discord right now that is using Discord right now, for the most part.
That's awesome.
Like, he does mine, he does Matt's, he does Steve's Discord, and I want to say another person, but I can't remember exactly who it is. But either way, he's
Was it DT?
No, DT doesn't have Discord. He's on Mastodon. But anyhow, he does a lot of administration in the Discords. And so he's a busy guy, and I can't thank him enough. He is my right hand man on our Discord. He's
Thank you. We love you.
Yep. Good job, Joris.
No Discord in the Discord.
Yeah, so that's a wrap on the Discord part. Now, so let's go to your topic. Which one did you want to do first?
So Ham is right on time for the Love Fest.
What's up, my guy? That's one of my admins right there.
Yep. All right. So I was, browsing the internet with my morning drink, as you do, earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across an article on GHacks that poised Huawei HarmonyOs, Huawei, the phone and tablet and smartwatch and other device manufacturer. If you remember, there was a while where they got in some hot water here over in the US for the way they were doing production and some other things. Do you remember that, Alex?
Yeah. Just briefly,
And
but yeah.
for a while, I think their devices were banned over here.
I think they still
I
are.
have
I don't really find them anywhere.
If anybody wants to fact check that, because they did brands under Huawei, and also the Honor brand was manufactured by Huawei as well. But they now have laptops that run Windows. They have tablets. They have smartwatches.
Yeah, they have. I know they have a full ecosystem of devices.
Yeah, and from the looks of the article I was reading on GHacks, it looks like they are aiming to try and get into the OS market with HarmonyOS, which already runs on some of their devices. And
Benton says U.S. government won't use them. Well, yes, and
I can imagine so, right, with them being made in China.
Yeah. They still are.
They still are what? Are they still banned over here?
Nightmare to root and also install custom ROMs. They disable OEM unlock. Yeah,
that's true. Like, no, if I'm doing a
Xiaomi
custom ROM phone,
yeah, you can't stop winning. Yeah.
Oh boy, stop winning. I'm a OnePlus guy.
OnePlus, yeah, OnePlus is nice. I mean, when it comes to the only thing I didn't like about the OnePlus is the pop-up camera that they had. Where
I remember
it's like, I don't know if it was their 3 or 2 version.
Yeah, I'm not into pop-up cameras really at all. Because eventually that motor's going to wear out.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but either way, but Huawei though,
anyway.
I haven't really used any of their products, so I don't know. But I do know that of all the Chinese device manufacturers out there that are doing modern day cellular phones and stuff like that, they have a full on ecosystem, and it is, across all the boards,
Right, and they're even branching out into IoT
things. Yeah. Oh, OnePlus is good. Waffle says, yeah, but yeah. It's interesting that they're actually getting into the actual OS market, which is going to be as big as they are. It's going to be worked on and developed well, I would think.
I would hope so.
Of course, it's going to suffer to being that they're Chinese based, to the whole, backdoor government, overreaching, issues that are there with Deepin Linux. So, the Chinese version, not the Deepin desktop, but the actual Deepin Linux that's out there. Because I don't think the Deepin desktop has those exploits. But that's arguable because that's a heated debate in the Linux community too.
And it's interesting that you bring up Deepin, because Huawei originally was using Deepin on some of their devices, if I remember correctly, laptops and stuff for a while, until the development of HarmonyOS.
Yeah.
Ham is making lunch for the kiddos.
Kids. Yeah, I just
all right. Ham, thanks for stopping by.
Yep. Much love, my brother, too, to you too, man. So, yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be developed well. From the looks of it, it's going to be across all their devices and available to be integrated with. Like, I'm sure they're going to use something like the KDE Connect, but just a ported.
That would make sense. But they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of design cues are getting borrowed from the iOS design. I think.
Benton just said something very, very interesting. You want to go ahead and take that one?
Benton says the time has come to end all U.S. technology exports to both Huawei and SMIC, to make clear that any firm that flouts U.S. law and undermines our national security will be cut off from our technology. Wow.
Yeah.
Banhammer.
Yes, Banhammer with Thor's
Benton
hammer.
Credits. U.S. Representative
Mike Gallagher
on the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on China. Yep. Okay, so that is still in place at the time of this video, then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and no, he's absolutely correct. What's been, China historically, and it doesn't matter what it is, like whether it's microphones, whether it is software, whether it is, devices. They have a huge, because they have no copyright laws over there. In fact, most people don't know this about me, but I actually, if you look up, uh, if
Okay.
you look up what you call it, Rage Lighting and Effects on
Mm.
Facebook, that is a company that I started. And what it is it's a LED microphone light stand that me and a partner made, that has different effects that you could do through LED light strips and stuff in there, like, glowing. We could even make fire, flaming effects and that kind of stuff on them.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
with you being a performer, that's a cool thing you made.
we did all of that, and we invented that, and we didn't quite get the patent on it right away, right? And before long, all of a sudden, they were popping up all over the actual music, supply stores and vendor stores, by companies. And a lot of these companies were Chinese companies, and what it is that they will go out, Chinese, because they have no copyright infringement laws over there whatsoever. They will go out and they will reverse engineer stuff and manufacture it over there. Then they'll sell it to other products, other people. Or like we were looking for mass production because we are getting quantity. Well, we were building them ourselves by hand, and
Mm.
a lot of people would go and they would order it, right, and then I think one of those companies ordered our products and reverse engineered it, and then mass marketed it, and then also
That
they will
sounds
offer,
tough.
yeah, then they'll also call other companies that are manufacturing stuff like that are like us, like a new company, that's up and coming, a venturing company, right? They'll call you and they'll offer to mass produce these things for you. All you got to do is send them your stuff, but they will not honor a non compete clause, because I tried to get them to do that, to do a non compete clause, or to actual, uh, to be behind a wall for sharing
Mm.
the blueprints only, and and not actually uh, uh, reproduce them in any manner inconsistent with what we said. Because what they'll do
Mm.
is they'll just reproduce
So
whatever
this
they
is
want.
something that happened to you.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why I agree with what Benton said, that Representative Gallagher has proposed, because they've taken a lot of American ingenuity. You see, China gets credited with a lot of these devices and all this great stuff, that they're doing, and leading all the world and all these technologies, but actually they take our ingenuity and then they kind of snipe it right out from under us and flood the market with 12, 13, 14 different brands.
Yeah, that's not something that I have enough experience to comment on, but that sounds tough.
Yeah, so I definitely support that, and so
Mm.
so
That would explain I am having a heck of a time trying to track down like an ISO or an image for the HarmonyOS.
mm-hmm,
There's also an open sourced version called Open HarmonyOS.
mm-hmm,
And I was doing some digging, in preparation for our episode.
right.
And it's really, really difficult and hard to get a hold of. And it seems like, as of right now, you actually have to run it in a container that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I
It
forget what the
wouldn't.
name of the
It
container
wouldn't
program
surprise me
that they
that they're
have.
gonna. It wouldn't surprise me if they're gonna exercise every amount of control that they have over that, because, like I said, they have no copyright laws over there. So
Right.
other
It feels
device
it's very
manufacturers,
locked down and not it doesn't feel like open source stuff that I'm used to at all.
right? Because open source doesn't have that proprietary feel, which is what they're going to do
Right.
over there to protect themselves from having their own stuff sniped out from under them by other competitors over there. That might want to do. I mean, I think the only other largest in the Asiatic theater of manufacturing out there that might actually be of direct competition on their level would probably be Samsung. And of course, Samsung's got their Samsung One UI, that they use on all
Right.
the tablets and everything else, but they haven't ventured into laptops yet or anything like that. Well, no, actually, they do have laptops. They're not
Yeah.
very popular, but they do have laptops. But they haven't developed.
Samsung has Chromebooks and some other stuff,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. They have that, but they haven't ventured into an actual operating system for them like that. They're still using like Chrome or whatever for Chromebooks. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking that they're trying to protect themselves from that. Samsung
Yeah,
sucks. As I
yeah,
hold
the
my Samsung
container.
Note.
Yeah, the container that I was mentioning, you have to use a program called Dev Eco Studio. I pulled it up over here.
Mm-hmm.
And Dev Eco Studio runs on Windows 10 and Mac OS 10.14 or more. And it looks like they want you to have minimum of 8 gigs of RAM and 100 gigs of storage. And I guess it's kind of like Android Studio or something like that, but for running HarmonyOS.
HarmonyOS. So it's like a
If you were
development.
gonna,
So it's like a
right,
development
hmm
sandbox that's made to run just that all of its own.
right, but yeah. So the article at GHacks would suggest that they're trying to come for the Microsoft audience. I don't know. If you can't get the devices over here.
Well, yeah, but then again,
I mean, if we're
So-
talking about outside the US,
realistic.
sure.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was getting ready to say. I mean, on a macro scale, when you look at it in a business mentality, right? Which
Mhm.
in the end, that's what they're doing. They're going to anybody who's getting any kind of business is going to look at things through business lines, right? In the
Right,
business
it's
lines.
bottom line.
So you have however many million potential users here in America, right?
hmm
Which is literally 1/16 of the population of the world, especially when you compare them to India and China. You know what I'm saying?
Right, they're much more densely
Yeah,
populated
they're much
countries
more
than ours.
out there than ours, right? So if they're banned from here, they're not going to focus here. We're just seeing the news because it's out there and it's coming from different,
Right.
and in today's, technology era that we're at, everybody's so interconnected that realistically it's easy to get your hands on this kind of information and miss it. You know what I'm
Sure,
saying?
and now the article felt a little bit hyped up to me, if I'm being honest. It was
Oh, so
cool to read.
you think it was a gin article? A ginned up article?
Well, here's what I'm thinking though. With the US having the purchasing power that we do,
Sure.
I don't think they're really going to make a dent in Microsoft's market share without being huge over here in the
Well,
US.
well, historically, I mean, you know what? Okay, look, let's just be honest here. A longtime Linux user here, and one
Mhm.
that's budding along too. The biggest problem that Linux has in bridging the gap to take over or to try to get, I mean, we're getting some of the market share for Windows right now only because of
Yeah, and we
gaming.
have the Steam Deck to
Only
thank for
because of
that.
gaming, exactly. We're gaining market share, but the problem why it hasn't gained more than that is because of the incompatibility with apps that has happened along the way. And a lot of people are so staunch on using some of the Linux programs and software that are out there that there's not a lot of compatibility with Linux, that the alternatives feel empty to them. Even though the
You mean like
alternatives,
Open Office and stuff like
yeah,
that?
exactly. A lot of
Well,
the alternatives are not not complete or feature rich to them enough to draw them. They always it's a to me it's a bit of a combination between the learning curve of having to learn a new software to meet the needs of what you need,
right.
and also that it just doesn't look and feel like it. I mean, it
Well, I
seems
mean,
like it, but it doesn't always look and feel like it.
okay. So no, I can get that. And
And then people tell them, and then another thing that people tell them is, well, if you really want that, this is absolutely this software for Microsoft is actually supported by Wine. So go use Wine. You could use Wine, and then they get lost in that whole,
oh boy.
Wine
Well, there's
configuration
that.
nightmare and stuff.
But I want to touch on a couple things and then move along to your next topic here.
Sure.
So, we're getting to the point now where web-based apps are making that a much less problem, much less of a problem. Sorry, like the Google App Suite, like Google Docs, Google Sheets, uh, things like that. If you can pull it up in a browser and run it that way, You
Yeah.
can do that with O365. So, I mean, we're really getting to the point now where, if we're going to use Office apps as the example, the need for a desktop based app is really shrinking, and I think Microsoft is going to accidentally push a lot of people over to Linux, because if you read some of the articles out there, it seems that the climate for Microsoft is moving towards Windows as a subscription service, and
Hmm.
I don't think people are going to be into that. The idea of paying for a subscription to your OS is going to drive a lot of people over here, and they're already testing it out in enterprise.
Right. Well, and that's not, and that is altogether not. I think there's validity in what you're saying. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're
But
going to
that,
wind up pushing people towards alternatives,
right.
not gaining customers.
But I'm afraid that it's going to be more. And I mean, I'm all for rescuing anybody from Windows, but I think it's going to be more towards Apple. I think it's going to be more towards Apple. You know what I mean? Because Apple is a more non-fragmented and more
Well,
complete, system, and they don't require the whole TPM stuff. They don't require any of that stuff.
well,
Although they only work on certain chips, and
r-
certain chipsets, so
well,
they're
there's
very
that, but
proprietary too.
what do you think, since they moved to Apple Silicon?
Hmm.
Graphics don't seem to be the priority with Apple that they used to be.
Right.
And like the pros aren't even using, dedicated GPUs anymore. It's your Apple Silicon for the graphics too.
Hmm.
I think that was a huge oversight.
Ms. Lop said like Apple's better. It's even worse than MS. I know that, but
Well, it really depends, and I think that, the power user is not going to go to Apple for as long anymore.
Mhm.
I think if the Linux world were a little bit less fragmented, we'd have a lot more market share.
Right, and I think to finish what I was saying about them going to
Yeah.
Apple, and the only reason why is because Apple has been marketed so much,
Oh yeah.
and everybody just automatically assumes that there's only Microsoft and Apple, Windows and Apple,
Yeah.
Mac.
I'm
That's all
I'm
they think.
really excited. I'm really excited. We do have vendor support for Linux devices now.
Yeah.
Dell's been offering them for a while.
Hmm.
We've got System 76, who I absolutely love what they do.
Yeah, and then you also got
You
Tuxedo
got
laptops from Germany.
Yep.
Then
Mm-hmm.
you've got actual frameworks laptops, that are supporting Windows and Linux actually.
Yeah.
And that's actually
So
interestingly enough, that was something that actually Linus had pushed for,
yeah.
which is
So I mean,
kind of cool.
I think that article sort of complete the article from GHacks. Let me
Hmm.
say more specifically, I think they missed all of what we just covered in a few, just a few minutes, and coming out swinging, saying, Microsoft, you've got a competitor.
Right. Well, and they've
It
actually had a
doesn't.
competitor all the while.
Right. Linux has been a back end to Microsoft servers for a while.
Hmm.
So I think that article, while interesting to read and cool to know about, I think it was a little bit overhyped.
And it might,
I don't think HarmonyOS is a Microsoft killer by any stretch.
well, it can't be. I mean,
It's no.
Microsoft, in the reality, even when they do, and as you talked about them going subscription based,
Hmm.
in the end, there are staunch Windows users that are going to
Yep.
pay for it. They're just going to do it. Just like there are
Yeah.
people like myself. I vowed after the last nightmare I had with Windows. I talked.
Oh
It
boy.
was funny. I was running a business and I was using Windows, and it cost me. It cost me money. And
Yeah.
when I did take over tea with Brody, it 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 cost me and it aggravated me so much that I vowed I would never go back. I suffered through the early days of Linux running a
Yep.
company on it, a business on it.
Yep.
That was it was a nightmare, but it was still better than having to deal with that damn Microsoft devil. I am not going to lie.
Oh
And I've
man.
never looked back, man. And now though, with the state of Linux that it is, and I did the video of is Linux
Mm.
made too easy,
Yeah.
and I brought up some valid points. But even to this day, with the state of Linux the way it is, as easy as it is to install and run, and there's such great distributions out there that are meant for business and enterprise, man, that I think that it is still way better to run those than Microsoft. It's just a matter of getting people to get past the learning curve. That's it. It's simply that.
Okay. Yeah. Good way to wrap that up. I've got some thoughts for an upcoming episode and maybe a video
Mm-hmm.
that sort of touches on a fringe related topic, but I'll save that. Uh
Awesome.
so I know that you're excited to talk about Thunar. Let's talk about
I
Thunar.
am. So Thunar over at Foss, I've been doing this, and I thought, you know what, man? Why not talk about it? Because I actually use Thunar. I love Thunar
Mhm.
file, the file manager, man. And honestly, God, it doesn't get the love that it should. And when Foss put out this article, 7 tips and tweaks to get more out of your Thunar file manager, man, I thought spot on because it's stuff that I do. Like, one, I use the shortcuts all the time, man. Like hiding hidden files and unhiding hidden files to declutter my pane when I'm looking at it, man. Also, there's a setting in it that you can open to where you left off at, which is simply, going into your settings and ticking on the restore tabs, on startup option in
Mhm.
the settings, right? I mean, there's just you can add emblems to your folders. You can even highlight them as it shows. I'm showing it right now so people can
Cool.
see. You can highlight it and add emblems so that at a quick glance, when you open up your file manager, you can actually see what that folder is and what it's about. And it even shows when it's in like your compact view. So that's really cool. And
Nice.
you can do accent colors, you can do whatever you want. And also, what is really cool is the different plugins that you can actually put in. And I'll go to their site here if it'll
Cool.
open for them. Oh, it's not opening for them. Oh, yes, it is. There it is. Here's their
Okay.
plugins right here. You can do the Thunar archive plugins. You can do action plugins, media tag plugins, VCS plugins, wallpaper plugins, thumbnailers. You can create different types of thumbnailers for it and stuff like that. Volume management plugins. I mean, there's all kinds of different, and you can even report
So
bugs through it too. They've even got a plugin for reporting bugs.
nice. So a lot of these features that you're touching on
Mm-hmm.
are some of the reasons that I like Dolphin in KDE.
I was getting you were getting ready. You went right where I was getting ready to go, man. So
But you do,
go ahead.
so now Thunar, if I remember the first time I ever used Thunar, it was XFCE's file manager,
It
right?
is exactly it is, and so being one of the longest running ones out there, uh, to have all these plugins that most people don't know about and all these different things that you can do
Mhm.
with it and how feature rich it actually is because they don't think it would be that way because it comes on a minimalist type desktop.
Right.
And so they don't realize how actually feature rich it is. And it's because you have to turn those features on. You know what I'm saying? They just give you
Right.
these
It's
certain
it's
settings,
really,
right?
really stripped down and basic out of
Right.
the box.
Whereas Dolphin comes fully feature compliant right off the bat.
Hmm.
And
Right.
so that's why people always want to think that Dolphin's better, this, that, and another. But and the reality of it is, Thunar is actually equitable to Dolphin in my mind's eye.
Hmm.
You
You
know,
know,
and
I
then
I
this.
wonder if I might like it on Budgie, since Budgie's my favorite, and I really don't want the bloat of like full blown Nautilus all the
Mm-hmm,
time.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm tempted to give it a shot.
yeah, you can slim it down, trim it down, just add whatever you want on it. That's what I like about it. It's so flexible, man, and powerful. I mean, it's the only and so it's my favorite actually. Dunar's my
Yep.
favorite, and then I like also PC Man FM, which is similar to
Mm.
Thunar as well, but it's honestly, the reason why I don't like PC Man FM is because when you want to type, to launch it, you have to type in that name. PC Man FM, that's a really long name for a file manager. You know what I'm saying? But,
That's true.
but,
Well,
but
I mean, how do you launch your programs usually?
oh, well, I'm a actual, window manager guy. So all my stuff's through keyboard strokes.
Okay, yeah, because usually what I'll do is I'll just tap super key, start typing, and hit enter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, from your run launcher. Yeah. Yeah, I don't use run launchers. Well, I guess I do use a run launcher if I type when I do use Rofi or
yeah,
yeah,
Benton
about
was just
PC
going to
Man
ask
FM.
about
Yeah, PC Man FM is awesome. He runs Ubuntu.
Lubuntu.
Hey, we got an
No,
Ubuntu user.
no, Lubuntu
Oh,
from
yeah,
LXDE.
LXDE. Yep.
Are you doing LXDE or LXQT? I forget which of the two Lubuntu is running.
I think it's LXDE.
I think so too.
Yeah. But yeah, no, PC Man is another great one. I mean, then you got your terminal managers, like Ranger and Midnight Commander, that you could use, which are okay. Woohoo, he says. That's awesome. But yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
Thunar, if you haven't played with Thunar,
LXQT.
yeah, LXQT, love it. He says, yeah, if you haven't played with it, man, definitely play with it. Try, customizing it to your needs and stuff like that, and just enjoy it. I mean, it's really a very, very, very powerful actual, and it, Samba works in it just great.
Oh,
So if
that's
you're
good.
using Samba
That's
shares,
important.
yeah, if you're using Samba shares, it works just great. I
Uh,
mean, it goes over my network, no problem at all.
oh, that's awesome. Question for you. One of the things that I like about Nautilus
hmm
is the good integration with Google Apps, your Google Drive and stuff.
hmm
Do you have plugins for that in Thunar that you're aware of?
I believe so.
Like Google Drive integration?
I believe so, but I also, but I don't. For some reason, I've always been accustomed to using an app, and I actually use, and I could do a spotlight next week on it, on an app that we used that bridges my desktop to my Google Drive.
Oh, okay.
That's just I kind of like keeping that separate.
You don't want them to have like access into your file manager. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. I like keeping that separate. So
I
yeah.
figured after using Android for this long, I'm just like, screw it. They got me anyway.
Well, yeah, they don't have to have you completely.
Fair enough.
I mean, I
Yeah,
like
Thunar sounds great, man.
Yeah, Thunar's actually a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful file manager. Give it a try. Spin it up. So we got about another 15 more minutes left. So let's go ahead and talk about your this. What you're getting ready to talk about is probably going to be the showstopper for anybody who's a gamer or content creator. So.
Oh man, so we're just gonna touch on it, and then the full video will be coming out pretty soon. Hopefully, sometime before the middle of next week. So, Ham's back.
Yeah.
If we're mentioning Huawei, we got to mention ZTE. Oh boy, full circle, right back.
Yeah, ZTE
telecoms. They used Huawei hardware for the back ends, and it was ripped out completely in favor of Nokia, Siemens. Wow.
Yeah, Nokia. Oh, the old Nokia, dude. Those old Nokia phones were extremely durable phones, man.
Oh yeah. You talking about the old brick where we were doing the T9 texting and
yeah.
Oh, dude, it was, you could throw your phone at a wall and it would laugh at you. I was just getting ready to
tell you a story about my first wife on that, and how I know how durable that hardware was, because I had a phone thrown at me like an 89-mile-per-hour fastball, and I dodged it, and it hit the window frame. Not the window.
Oh, and all the plastic would go everywhere, and you just put it back together, slap the battery in.
And we slapped it back together, and it worked. And I was mad because I was like, great, now I got to buy you a new phone, because that'll be the next rant and rave you're complaining about. And so she just stopped. We put it back together, and it worked solidly. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nokia.
Borderline indestructible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so anyhow, back to your I'll let you announce it. Go ahead.
Oh, sure. I've played with Nobara for a while,
I'm gonna pull it
and
up.
one of the things that I really, really liked about Nobara was when I was learning about it, they got me into using the game capture plugin, and Windows has a game capture plugin for OBS too,
Mm-hmm.
but on Linux, it's called OBS-Vkcapture. You can
Right.
grab it from the AUR if you use Arch.
I have it in
You
there. I
can,
have their GitHub pulled up right now so they can see it.
yep, and you can also grab it pre-installed and configured on Nobara.
Mm-hmm.
Glorious Eggroll included it as part of his souped-up OBS package,
Right.
and if you don't like Nobara, but you want that vibe, you can use Pika OS, which I talked about at the beginning of the episode
Right.
today, which is basically just Nobara rebased to Debian.
Mm-hmm.
And what OBS-Vkcapture does
Mm-hmm.
is grabs your game frames from the frame buffer.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, for my experience, it's like the OBS not OBS, sorry, the NVFBC plugin for OBS
Right.
that stopped working when we went from 27
Yeah, I was gonna say
to
27 to
28.
28. Yeah.
Because that's what I miss the most. And game capture is the closest that I can get to the frame rates and the low lag that I had when
Yeah.
I was using FBC.
Just as a PSA, reading their GitHub down at the bottom, it says
Mhm.
that the driver version for NVIDIA's got to be 5.15.43, and it needs to
Correct.
have the NVIDIA DRM mode set kernel
Yep.
parameter in it.
Right.
So,
You have to
and
have
in
kernel
Wayland,
mode setting or it won't.
yeah, and in Wayland it says make sure that Wayland is running on the Wayland and not X Wayland.
Right.
And no game capture source available in from OBS 27, so it's from
Mhm.
28 and forward, like we were talking about.
Correct. And I'm gonna throw a little bit of information here. Like I said, my next full video for the channel
Mm-hmm.
in the next few days is going to be a full rundown on how to compile this plugin if
Mm-hmm.
you're using an Ubuntu-based distro,
Right.
because anything except Arch or a pre-install requires that you actually download the source and compile the plugin yourself. So if you're on an Ubuntu
Well,
base, you can use
it
it.
said
If
it
you're
had
on,
Flatpak.
right, but Flatpak and the Nobara using game capture guide
Mm-hmm.
will actually go into this. If you are using Flatpak, there are additional things that you need to think about. You have to have the Flatpak plugin, and not everybody wants to run it in a container.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
So, yeah, my use case for the upcoming video is specifically X11 and Ubuntu based distro, because I think it's going to be the most usable for the most people. So, because of this plugin, I'm able to run my Twitch streams
Right.
as well as I did on Windows, and often better. It's really cool, and it doesn't support all games.
Right. But
It's using.
what's nice about it too, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No, it's all good.
my mind's eye, my thought immediately goes to if you are trying to start a gaming, content creating channel, or even probably just a content creation channel of any kind, you could
Mhm.
use this instead of having to buy a capture card, like you were talking, like we've talked about, like Elgato's and $200 capture cards and stuff like that.
Right.
But
Um,
what is the quality like? Have you?
the quality's pretty good. Now, keep in mind that my production machine, I wouldn't call it a potato, but it's, we're definitely not running an RTX 3090 or anything like that.
Oh, come
The
on!
better
You don't
your,
have millions of dollars falling out of your pocket over there.
bro, I use Linux. I don't want to pay for an OS. You think I'm out?
You're gonna pay for $500, $1,000
Oh
video
man,
card.
no, thank you. Oh boy. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
It is certainly usable given the fact that I'm on a 1650 Ti on a laptop,
Mhm.
and I'm able to stream 1080p 60 and nobody's complaining, and I'm not doing AAA titles, but I've done as recent as Street Fighter 5,
Nice.
which, you know, it's been good enough to have an enjoyable stream.
Nice. And so you might as
I
well plug your channel.
That's okay. If you guys are into gaming, I stream on Twitch as Snack Ops Unit, and I do a variety of different games, usually retro platformers. I do fighters. I'm probably going to start playing maybe some RPGs or a little bit of shooters. And for most of the time I've had that channel, I've streamed from Linux. Not just streaming on Linux. Like, a lot of people are doing that now with a 2 PC setup.
Mhm.
They'll have like a capture card or something like that.
Mhm.
And they'll have a Windows PC running the game and then do the stream through a
Linux.
second PC on
But you're
Linux.
doing completely on Linux, gaming on
All
Linux.
correct.
You're
I'm
a real
streaming.
Linux user, not a fake Linux user.
Oh, I don't know about all that. Ham says some telecoms replaced Huawei with Alcatel, Lucent. I didn't like Alcatel.
Me neither. It was not all Nokia Siemens. Sorry.
Have you
Yeah.
considered naming your channel The Gamer Tube? Absolutely not. You're trying to get me in hot water there.
Actually,
I think there's a Gamer
Waffles,
Tube channel already.
and he's my friend. Actually,
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, he is the Gamer Tube. He's Sean 6000. Is
Yep.
what you find him at Sean 6000. He's the Gamer Tube. He's been busy doing a lot of. He's been working too, like us. He's a newer guy that started up, but yeah, I have not. He actually, it's really funny. The quick story on that GamerTube.
Yeah.
He actually came to me and said, "Hey, I didn't realize that you had a Linux tube." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he says, and I actually started a channel called The Gamer Tube. And I'm like, he says, I just started it. I don't have any real subscribers. I could change the name if it offends you. And I'm like, what? Why? No, go ahead.
We're all here together.
Yeah, I said maybe some of my subscribers will hit your channel because
Because of the
they
tube thing.
mistyped it. Yeah, whatever. No, come on, man. No, man. Much love. So at any instance, yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah. But I'm really hoping. I hope that more people start getting out there streaming on Linux systems and plug in that.
Yeah, and I think this Vkcapture is going to be essential to that because it gives them a low to entry barrier point. You know what I mean? It's the right price. Free. You know what I'm saying? You just got to compile it and or use one of the distributions like you said that already have it already compiled, like Nobara, already in there, and just start using that. I mean, that's great.
And it's definitely I would say it's definitely going to be easier to do on an AMD setup because the support because no, not on Intel. I mean for graphics.
NVIDIA.
Versus NVIDIA. Yeah, NVIDIA has a couple of hiccups with it. However, even with the NVIDIA drivers being as annoying as they can be, I do not think that the AMD encoder has caught up to NVENC as far as power with that, although I could be wrong. But
no, it's still a work in progress there. But I did.
But for driver support and for Wayland,
right?
AMD is easier. But there is one caveat, and I want to tell anybody who's thinking about streaming to Twitch or anything like that to watch out for a pitfall. If you are using Wayland, this is unrelated to the Vkcapture. It's more OBS period.
Mm-hmm.
The custom browser dock that will let you have your stream chat in OBS relies on Chromium embedded framework, and that does not work on Wayland. It's broken.
Right. And actually that is also, it's really funny because not only that, but even like in OBS, if you use a browser source, a lot of people are complaining that the Chromium framework that you're talking about, or Chrome framework that you're talking about, is implemented isn't completely implemented, and they have like nowadays you
Right,
get all
for
these
connecting
pop-ups,
your accounts and
yeah,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
also pop-up blocking and that kind of stuff is non-existent there. So you have to be careful with what you're putting in the browser source for your OBS if you're going to be using that and showing to your content, to your
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
on your thing, because you're going to get pop-ups for some male enhancement pills or something like that that could just pop up or whatever. So yeah, that's a good PSA to put out there for this Vkcapture stuff.
Yeah.
If it's going to use the actual browser sources as well, capture
Yep.
those. That's just something to know about.
So yeah, upcoming video we'll go over how to compile it for Ubuntu based distros. And guys, that's a wrap for this week's episode.
Yeah. So I really looking forward to what's coming up. My review that I'm going to do, and then also the content that you're going to make for the channel. I'm looking forward to that.
What's your next distro you're going to review?
As I mentioned earlier in the podcast when we opened up, it's
Mm-hmm.
DTOS's DTOS. DT's
There we go.
Yeah.
GG, love it.
Yeah, and so I'm looking forward to doing that, because it's actually like I said, he's a friend. He's a very good friend of the channel and a supporter of the channel as well. And he's put together a pretty awesome distro there, man. I mean,
Yep.
It looks good, and I look forward to doing that review. But other than that, I will simply say this, man. Y'all keep doing what you do. Keep on Linuxing. Stay blessed, and above all, have a great day, and we'll catch you in the very next video. Bye.